this is a festival of the culture in the end.
Some of the biggest artists and some of the best artists like in our scene have come from Croydon.
No matter who make the music, I'm supposed to have good music.
It's just nice to have it in your own backyard because usually you have to go East London, North London.
The Ends Festival this year definitely put Croydon on the map on like a whole nother level.
Like when I think about the Ends, I just think
it's a place that you feel comfortable in.
It's just like home.
The Ends to me is all about the manor, the area you grew up in, where you're repping, where you're from. The Ends.
The Ends for me is the slang for the neighbourhoods. The Ends is where we're from. It's where I met all my friends. It's where we say we're going to at the end of the day. The common denominator amongst all of us is music. And I think one thing that pulls people together generally is music.
It's almost unbelievable how we could get a group of our friends together to put something so magnificent on.
It started as an idea. It started as a bubble of literally nothing.
What we're trying to do through the festival is just raise the awareness a little bit of Croydon, change the narrative a little bit, and just getting people seeing it in a positive light and actually just giving it the recognition that it does deserve for music.
It was a beautiful thing to see all the people come together in the local area, and like the vibe was just nice. Like there was no trouble. People then were just behaving themselves, the food was good.
Lots of people from different backgrounds integrating. I think it's important to have festivals in communities.
You had people like Damian Marley, you had J Balvin, then you had Santan Dave, and then you had Burna Boy. The selection was insane. They supported a lot of emerging talent like Benji Flo to Shay Lingo. But the best thing about it was the fact that it was bred from us, it was by us.
From a performance aspect, you know, we've worked with Croydon Music and Arts to deliver the Future Stage.
For us to get something that's so close to us and be able to perform with bigger artists, it's kind of like a blessing.
There's obviously a lot of showcases and stuff, but festival entries are like very hard to get.
I'm nervous, but at the same time, I'm so gassed because I'm just happy to see the Ends like coming up for once, you know?
It's like a dream come true, really. I've always wanted to be able to perform on such a massive platform like this.
The Ends Festival is a really good example of reworking the future.
It feels amazing to perform at a festival like with my own songs as well, for people to hear my music and just see what I have to offer, really.
I feel like this will be like, raw, like we can actually do this, like standing in front of a crowd of people in our own Ends.
Now that this is here and once it takes place, I think there's just going to be so many more different opportunities.
It's helping to build their foundation and give them something that they can grow from. I'm sure it's quite bucket list to be able to do something like that. So
we can really see that this is opening doors, so I got to say a big shout out to the Ends Festival.
This is about celebrating our own talent in Croydon as well as the fantastic artists headlining the bill today.
It was absolutely crazy. It's such a crazy thing to think of them three. Damian Marley from Jamaica, like Wizkid from Nigeria, Nas from New York, and now they're all going to be in Croydon.
The same Croydon that people make jokes about.
The fact there's even going to be a festival there and people are going to travel to Croydon for a festival that's called The Ends, it's like, that's completely changing the script because
there's a stigma. When people mention Croydon, there's like some hesitation in coming here, and it's that part that we're trying to get rid of.
I think everyone here's the worst of Croydon, but there's a lot of character here.
Growing up for me was all about drum and bass, especially when living in Adan. And then later on in life, moving to Thornton Heath, discovering this sound called garage.
Garage was definitely a big sound. You go into the clubs like Blue Orchid.
Lloyd's, which you wouldn't believe it now, which is a Wetherspoons pub on the high street, but Lloyd's was absolutely packed.
I think like Croydon was definitely a big spot for garage. People were travelling into town for the nights. We had big promotions here.
Nearly all the venues have gone. I think Croydon is at like its lowest point in terms of cultural offerings, in terms of music, nightlife, entertainment. There isn't much going on.
We have the least venues, everything. Like we don't have a lot of shows here at all.
It was disappointing to see it all kind of disappear, actually, just because it used to be such a good place to just be able to go out.
Right now, I think Croydon has done a very, very good job at marketing to property developers and investors, very good at saying to people, move here, but when they move, what are they going to be doing?
Publicly, we've had those headlines of no dancehall, no rap, no drill, no grime, outside clubs in Croydon quite recently.
So to see a festival come in was great, but to see that it was also going to be putting that kind of music on was a pleasant surprise.
Being that where I come from, being that, you know, my heritage and my legacy, we've always been big supporters of African culture, you know?
So to have like a whole festival, a whole 3-day weekend where that music is celebrated, and even like the artists who perform that type of music are able to come down and be there in the flesh. This is really what it's about, and everyone's just here to have a good time and enjoy the music and enjoy the culture.
You know, hip-hop is a great vehicle to reach the community.
This is just the beginning of something special.
Every city has something different to offer. Manchester's full of vibes, full of different characters, different genres, and London's the same.
It just happens that there is a lot of fresh and hot emerging talent that comes from South London, especially Croydon.
I don't know what it is, there's got to be something in the water. Croydon's been shutting down, there's loads of artists from Croydon coming up.
Like, we all know that Croydon's the birthplace of dubstep. Now it seems to be grime, hip-hop, UK drill seems to be more at the forefront.
Our music is charting more than ever before, you know.
To put a festival like this or, you know, a function on like this in an area like this, it shows that there's a lot of faith and hope within the area.
Lloyd Park was kind of an annual destination for the World Music Day and the Mela, and one of the first live artists I ever saw in my life, period, was De La Soul.
Coming back here is definitely a nostalgic feeling. One thing that I knew is that when I stepped out that van, I was like, well, yeah, we've been here before. This is like the neighborhood.
When we started getting those early confirmations in, we was like, right, this is really happening.
The future's very bright for Croydon.
I'd like to believe that we're going to get more visitors and people are going to look at Croydon a lot more positively, but we've got loads of work to do. This is just laying the foundation. We should have been here time ago.
I went to Croydon once. I went to the Ends Festival. I think those are the stories we're going to start hearing.
I find it hard to believe that we've actually managed to do it.
The Ends to me is
where you grow up. It's where you meet with your friends.
It's what we'd use in like everyday conversation. So to have a festival named after that, like something that me and my friends say, is kind of crazy.
And people know it's not just a lost cause. They say, no, we're actually going to invest in it because we know there's so much stuff happening.
I hope that by doing something amazing, showing what Croydon is capable of, that something really good comes of it.